Yo, yo, yo. What's cracking, peoples? Whoa. This is Ventures in Traffic, episode 9. Can't believe we're at 9 already. Before you know it, we'll be at 900. So, today, I had an interesting conversation with someone, and we were talking about Peleton. I do not own a Peleton, but the gentleman that I was talking to does. And we were just talking about different aspects of the company and what's going on with the company and what could potentially go on with the company. And, I was inspired to make a video. Now, I can't go this way. I will say the thing that what it made me think of was the idea of blowing the bag, right? We use that term in pop culture, the bag of money. It could also mean an opportunity, right? Blowing an opportunity. And Peleton is not a fly-by-night company. They've been around for a decade, but their rise to stardom, I guess you could say, was during 2020. All of the things that happened. Not going to use the P word, pan, and I'm not going to use the C word. Not going to use the P word or the C word. But everybody knows what happened in the year 2020, and that is the year that Peleton blew up, right? And people will say that's when they got lucky, but I don't believe in luck. I believe luck is when opportunity meets planning. Now, this company has been around for 10 years, so at that time, I guess it was 7-8 years, and they have been planning their expansion, which most companies do, right? They plan to expand year over year, the projected growth of sales and revenue. And they had the opportunity during 2020 with everybody being confined to their home. And for us, it was like a winter, right? Like, think back in school when you were on winter break and you're not going to school, you're not going anywhere because it's cold outside, weather is terrible, and you're just kind of stuck in the house. Well, that's what 2020 was for a lot of us. And some of those people were like, you know what? I've been seeing this Peleton thing. If I'm going to be stuck in the house, I don't have to get lazy and fat. No disrespect for all my people who are overweight, but this is how people were thinking in 2020, right? Like, I'm not going to stay home and get lazy and fat. I'm going to get this Peleton and I'm going to work it out, right? And that's what they did. Problem is, when things started opening back up, there was no longer a need for Peleton for some people, right? And that massive growth came to a screeching halt. Now, they have since laid off almost 3,000 workers. So they cut corporate jobs 20% across the board. They're slowing down production. Factories will not be open, or they will be open at a fraction of what they would have been if the growth would have continued, right? And I'm not going to throw a bunch of facts and figures out there. I listen to that kind of stuff, but I'm going to dumb it down. I feel like if you want to know exactly how much they made, like they have, 6.6 million subscribers and, they're worth 12 billion. If you want to know all of that stuff in specific detail, you can look it up yourself. But what I really want to talk about is how their apparent luck, has run out, in the sense that people are not confined to their homes anymore, and they're not using their Pelotons. And this is a prediction or a hypothesis. If you want a Peloton and you weren't able to get one, look on eBay. Next couple weeks, months, they're probably going to be like 75% off of those things used. So instead of paying $2,500, you might be able to scoop one up for like $200, $300, $400, which is still a steal because it's an incredible piece of technology from what I understand. I do not own one, but I have clients who do, and I hear they're great. Now, when I talk about blowing the bag or blowing the opportunity, they're in hot water because not only did they fire all of these people, the CEO stepped down. And with the CEO stepping down, they have since put in place another CEO, and I don't remember these guys' names, but I know the new CEO was the former CEO of Spotify and Netflix. So he has a history in running businesses with subscription-based services, right? And I think the issue with Peloton is, and this is what, this gentleman and I were talking about today, was the marketing. They dropped the ball on the marketing because I didn't know what Peloton was until a client said it. She came in, it was probably like December of 2019. It's the first time I heard the word. And I'm like, okay, what are we working on? She's like, oh, this, that, and the third. I'm super tight. I'm all jacked up. I'm sore. I'm like, what, you've been fighting crime on the weekends? And she's like, no, I got a Peloton. I was like, a Pella what? And she said, I thought it was a illness. I got a Peloton. I said, well, what's a Peloton? And she told me about it. She said, oh, it's awesome. And I've been working out 6-7 days a week, 3-4 hours a day. And this was prior to 2020. I don't know if she continued all the way through until now, but it's been like it was a peak and then it's a steep decline, right? Of people who use it and subscribe. Now, they still have a loyal customer base because, like I said, they've been around for a decade. Now, they have this new CEO in, and there was a meeting with the new CEO and the employees and the former CEO. He was on the meeting as well. But the problem is they let the people who were fired, I'm guessing they're still at the company until whatever day. I don't know. I could be wrong. But whatever the case, they let the former employees, the recently fired employees, in on the meeting. And they just started going off. They crashed the party. Said all kind of crazy things. You can look that up. But it's a drop in morale, right? Because I don't know the reasoning why, or I don't know how they picked who was to be fired, but they did. And they were, right? They did pick whoever they picked, however they picked it, and they were fired. Now, the issue is they have to clean up, right? So I think the theory is they're going to run leaner, right? Because when you 3,000 less employees, 2,800, that's less checks you got to cut, right? And you're slowing down factory production and all kind of things. So that's less money for the overhead. And you can focus more on bringing these people back. Now, if anybody's watching this from Peloton, give me a call. I got some ideas for you. Here's a few. With the marketing, people only saw the high intense workout videos and, come on, Peloton, push it, just 2 more miles, let's go, you can do it, work up a sweat, right? And I guess it works because the people I know who use it, they love it. They say that it's very motivating when they are using it, via the app. But what people don't know is, and I just found this out, you don't need the bike or the treadmill to use the app. You can have a regular treadmill or a regular bike, and there are also other programs that do not involve the app. It's just the branding. Remember, I talked about brand washed. They did not brand wash. I'm going to keep saying that phrase because it's a thing. They were not brand washing correctly, and by that I mean it was viral how the awareness of the company spread, right? But what if they would have focused more time on the apps, marketing the apps? Because I just learned on today, hate when people say that. But I just learned on today that they have apps that have nothing to do with walking, running, or biking. How would it have benefited the company if people knew that on a massive scale? So maybe with them cutting these jobs, they can add that to the gumbo, right? Like add this marketing pitch to it, or this niche. And then another thing, remember I talked about hip-hop being the biggest cultural export? Well, they got two of the biggest producers. Now, there's something called a versus battle. If you know, you know. I won't go into it. But the guys who are the creators of the versus battle, they got them to come in, Peleton got them to come in and curate some playlists. So now they have versus battles for the workouts. This person versus that person versus this person, which is a great idea. But who knew? Who knew about that? What if they could have used the versus platform to pitch the fact that they had a new versus that wasn't going to be live streamed, but it was going to be on the Peleton platform? How many people from the hip-hop culture could they have brought on board as a subscriber if they knew that, right? Another thing that I think may have benefited them, I feel like a lot of people, now that things are opening up, they don't want to be in the house, right? Like, regardless of if you get a good workout through this app, they just don't want to be in the house. So what they could have done, possibly, is partner with a couple of gyms around the country. And maybe they still will. Maybe they'll call me. Consultant fee. Partner with a few gyms around the country, because every major city, let me lock the door. I see this dude walking around begging for money and locking my door. They could have partnered with a few gyms around the country in a couple major cities. Like, I'm in Philly, so you got Philly, Pittsburgh, Scranton, Erie, York, right? But let's just say 5 gyms out of every state, right? That's a significant amount of gyms. But here's the caveat. What if you had a subscription, they could have partnered with the local trainer, and that trainer could have given you a discount on in-person sessions? Or if you don't have a subscription and you're a member of the gym, if you sign up, again, a discount on personal training sessions. I think that's something else that would have worked. And this is what I mean by blowing the bag. Now, I am by no means a business or a marketing expert. It's like I always tell people, I'm not a doctor, but I'm not a dummy. I think with these couple of things, they would still be a major player. I mean, they still are a major player, because there's not too many companies that do what they do. But they would not have had this firing, right? Maybe in a smaller amount of people, but not 3,000. That's a lot of people to get let go. And I think it's crazy. But, businesses do what businesses have to do. I'm not knocking them. But it's a trending topic, and it made me think about how many people waste opportunities when they have the golden goose right there in their hands and they let it fly away. Could Peleton go the way of Blockbuster? Only time will tell, right? It's like that, somebody asked me today, what's a photon? And I said, it's a particle of light. And she's an electrical engineer. She said, is it a particle or a wave? Theoretically, it can be both. So, will Peleton go the way of Blockbuster, or will they go the way of Tesla? Theoretically, at this moment in time, they are both. It's up to them to decide, and this new CEO who is well-versed in handling businesses with subscription-based services, only time will tell what they'll do. If they'll crash and burn and go the way of the dodo, or if they'll skyrocket and reclaim that former glory. Because I know everybody loves the feeling of what it's like to be on top. And and then you hit rock bottom. And they haven't hit rock bottom. I think, what they did was they trimmed the fat so they wouldn't hit rock bottom, right? They're not at a point where all is lost, but they're also not the champion they once were, at least in the eyes of the people who used to work there. So let's see what happens. I've heard stories of a athletic apparel company called Behemoth possibly trying to acquire them, but who knows now, right? I've heard stories of Apple and Nike possibly trying to acquire them, but who knows? We'll see what happens. And it makes me think about people in life, situations in life. Like I said, luck is when opportunity meets planning. And you have to plan for the opportunity, right? As we say in the hood, you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. But how many of us are actually ready? Like, if something comes along that is the right opportunity for me, I feel like I'm ready. But there could be things that I just don't see that I'm missing. So I'm doing my best to tighten up and big bump. Doing my best to tighten up and make sure I'm ready when opportunity knocks, that I can execute, and it'll look like I'm lucky, but I'm not lucky. I've just been planning for a long time. And I think that's the way we have to be, right? Like, we got to make sure that we are ready to execute at a moment's notice, because that rapper, the Caucasian guy, who was a lot of people call the GOAT, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. I'm thinking about Mom's Spaghetti. But I digress. I love that movie, by the way. That was like, because I was a rapper, so that movie was my movie. That song, that was my song too. That was, that point in time, that was the feeling, right? Like, you get this one shot. But I know a lot of people who are still pursuing being rappers, and for some people, it's never going to work out. And that's not me being a hater. They are just not planning for the opportunity, right? There's opportunities out here, and if that's what you really want, nothing's going to stop you, because you've been planning. And when you get that chance, that one opportunity, you're going to knock it out the park, Babe Ruth style, right? But people aren't planning. They say if you fail to plan to fail. And people aren't planning what's going to happen when they get this one big opportunity. I'm going to go this way. I decided personally that I did not want to be a rapper anymore. I was done. I didn't like what it was turning into. I was no longer passionate about it. I wasn't feeling the culture no more. That was it for me. And I decided that after decades dedicated to it. But I also know some people, again, not being a hater, some people, they feel like that is the only talent that they have, right? And in the hood, is shout out to the rapper, the billionaire rapper, right? The one that everybody says is the GOAT, married to the she-goat. How did he say? Whether we dribble out this mother, work hospital second floor out this mother, something like that. Whether we dribble out this mother, rap, riddle, metaphor out this mother, work hospital second floor out this mother, something like that. But, that's your options. Sports, entertainment, healthcare. That's what he was saying. And that's what I'm saying. Some people feel like they don't have any other talent besides being a rapper or being an entertainer. And I'm telling you, you do. But what are you planning for, right? A lot of people are going to blow that opportunity because they're chasing all the wrong stuff. They're worried about getting jewelry. They worried about fame. Because you got to look the part. That's one thing about being in the entertainment industry, the urban entertainment. You got to look the part. You got to have a big gaudy chain. You got to have some clothes, some drip. You got to have a nice car, the foreign, and a pretty girl in your arm. And it ain't even about talent no more. So if you can freestyle rap, you are extremely talented and you're mentally gifted, because not too many people on this planet can come up with words that rhyme without writing it down on the spot, on beat, in cadence, with rhythm. That is an extremely, extremely awesome talent that not everybody possesses. Even the ability to write is a talent. You could turn that writing rhymes into writing books, which I do. You can write blog posts, which I do. Like, I've been writing for as long as I can remember. I've been reading for as long as I can remember. My father had me watching Jeopardy when I was a little guy. So my ability to retain information and my love for like random trivia is thanks to my father, and my love for books is thanks to my father. But I realized that I don't have to be a rapper to be successful. I have more talent, and we all have more talent. We don't have to be, and this is still related to Peloton. I know I'm rambling. I tend to do that. I will get better as I start writing down my thoughts and my ideas, and these shows become scripted. But I'm just putting it out there. Don't blow the opportunity. And Peloton could be a wash in 5 years, or they could be like, remember that time when they almost lost it? Rocky Apollo Creed type moment. Remember when they almost lost it, and now everybody's got a Peloton car or whatever. Like, they might come up with a car that's foot powered like the Flintstones, and people will be like, oh man, it's the best thing ever. Nope. Fred and Barney did that a couple thousand years ago. It's nothing new under the sun. But I think that company is going to have to innovate when it comes to marketing and how they reach out to their consumer, right? Because direct to consumer is big, but you got to do it right. And for people out there that want to be, I don't even want to say the next big thing, but they want to be successful, think about your marketing, because this is the attention economy. Think about your marketing. Think about what you have to do to get their attention ethically. Don't do anything stupid, because I see too much of that. I'm not even going to go into it, because then somebody's going to think I'm talking about them. I probably would be, but that's not the point of this. Don't blow the opportunity in front of you. Stay focused, stay vigilant, stay classy. Peace.